You know what time it is. It is Currentcy episode 3. We just clicked the, what do you call this thing? The video?
I call it a clicker.
A clicker. What is the technical word for this clicker? A Hollywood snapper clicker thing that makes sure that we know what we're shooting, what we're doing.
I mean, it's kind of like a white balance.
Currentcy is definitely stepping up the level of production here in the office. What's up, everybody? I'm excited to be back. Most importantly, with you, Dingo.
I'm with you every day.
That's so true. But this environment to me is a lot of fun to be doing this with you, man. The first 2 episodes were great. We're coming in strong with episode number 3. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things to get up to speed on. Excited to be here. We're in the Gross Labs office in Los Angeles. It is almost summertime. We're on the brink of summer in Los Angeles, and it feels good.
Yeah, we're both here in our sweatshirts.
Yeah, and we're here in our sweatshirts. I'm in my OVO sweatshirt. I've recently become a very big fan of the OVO brand because of our partners in Toronto and because of the Raptors. And I'm going to say go Raptors. You might be saying go Golden State.
I mean, at this point, I want to see good basketball. I am a fan of the Raptors story, and then the Golden State Warriors are a dynasty. So it's yin and yang.
Yeah,
I think it's good to see great basketball. I'm gonna go right into that.
Okay, I'm sick of. By the way, I'll just say that I'm sick of. I don't need 4 out of the last 5 years to be taken by Golden State.
Well, that's what it's been, dude. So who's gonna take us up? But some of the biggest news this week in basketball is Kawhi Leonard, but it's off the court. And he's gone into a lawsuit with Nike. So he used to be sponsored by Nike. He had a contract from 2011 to 2018. He's now currently on New Balance. That contract just went into play. In 2011, he had created a logo that's a hand and it's a K and an L for Kawhi Leonard. Nike went and copyrighted that without his authority, and he's now officially in a lawsuit with Nike.
Wow. They're doing stuff behind the man's back. That's not a good move.
Yeah, so the lawsuit was filed to the Toronto Raptors superstar in which he says the K and the L on his jersey number actually came from his own hand, pen to paper, back in 2011. Leonard traced it around his hand, on the inside of the hand, drew and styled the versions of his initials KL and the number he had worn for the past team he played for, which was San Antonio. The problem hasn't really been arisen until now. He is no longer with Nike. He's with New Balance, and he filed a lawsuit just last week.
Crazy. That guy is a real life Raptor. Have you seen the size of that guy's hands? He is the epitome of a Raptor, dude. He is a Raptor. He's got claws the size of a dinosaur.
Without Kawhi Leonard, the Raptors would not be where they are right now.
It's so true. It's so true. But a good time. I mean, good for him, man. It feels like, at least from what I've heard in the recent press and whatever it is, it feels like he's like not stoked to be on the Raptors or something. Like he was never happy to be in Toronto and was pissed. But now look at where he's taking the team. Like it feels like such a good thing.
I didn't know that. He was unhappy about the I thought he wanted to go there.
I thought that he didn't want to go there. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I feel like now that he's in this position, like isn't he a free agent after this?
He's a free agent. That doesn't mean that he doesn't not want to be there, right?
Right.
I think that he,
in the interviews I see of him, it's always talking about how he was upset with what happened and didn't want to be there. And now that he's happy he's in this position to take the team possibly to a championship.
Yeah, so tonight's the game. It's game 3. It's
stoked.
Excited. It's in Golden State. It almost said Milwaukee, but they knocked the Bucks out. Listen, the Toronto Raptors, or the Canadians in general, are without Kawhi Leonard, they wouldn't be where they are right now. I know that in Toronto there's petitions to keep him, and who knows what will happen. Tonight is a big game because Golden State Warriors going up 2-1. If that happens tonight, is a tough position for the Raptors to be in.
It starts to get tough at that point. And also, too, can we get Canada some type of medal or some type of trophy, dude? Of any sports team?
It's been cool to watch because the Toronto Raptors are carrying a nation on their side, so there's like Canada versus US,
I hope, but
Canada needs something.
Canada needs something, dude. Canada loves their sports. They love their hockey. They love, give them something. Give them something.
What's going on with your hockey? It looks like this series is now tied up 2-2. The Boston Bruins and the St. Louis Blues.
The Blues. Yeah, I mean 2-2. I think whoever wins this next game tomorrow, I think is going to probably take the series. I hope it's St. Louis. Both teams have, Chara took a puck to the face, had to, at the last game, bleeding all over the place. I think he snapped his jaw in half. He came out with a visor. The guy's 6'8". He's the tallest person ever to play in the NHL. Just a beast. I think it's his 21st season. He's really led the team in so many ways. Crazy to see that he got his jaw busted the other night, but I think he'll be out there playing the next game, hopefully.
What do you think is going to happen there?
I don't know, man. I think my gut is telling me that Bruins are going to take it, as much as I want St. Louis to win a cup finally. The Blues are the longest active team in the NHL to never have won a Stanley Cup. So I hope for the city and, for St. Louis that they do.
Wow. According to, so you posted something earlier this week, so I took note in it, and it's head of the news now, and I think a lot of today's show is going to be kind of based around this. According to recent Federal Reserve data, America owes $1.5 trillion in student loans. Outstanding student loan debt exceeds into the trillions. Credit card debt in America is not even, it's at $977 billion. So it's the conversation now has been up. His name was Robert F. Smith, I believe, the billionaire that came in and
paid off some of that, right?
Paid off, well, just one college. Right. So Morehouse came in and said, listen, it's somebody putting their hand up and doing a good deed, has now transcended into this huge topic of what are we doing, what's going to happen with student debt, college debt in this country, where are they going to go with it? It's one of the biggest topics now for the presidential candidates, especially on the Democrat side, where it's one of their largest topics to talk about.
Yeah.
What can happen here?
The fact of the matter is that I believe, students and that get themselves into these situations to no fault, really, right? Like if you're going on this university path, and the way to get through a lot of the journey for a lot of people is to have to take on debt and have to take on student loans, which is the thing. But the problem is that the reality is that these people will be stuck with these loans and stuck with this debt for the rest of their lives.
Can I read a couple of these stories you posted?
Yeah.
Ashley Payne. I was a first generation college student in my family. I borrowed to attend undergrad at Fisk and then more to attend economy law. I owe $330,000. No matter how on time my payments are, my balance increases.
$330,000. She's
not going to pay it off.
It's over. She must be, I think, and I don't mean to speak in this way about it. It's not over for her. I hope that she figures a way out of that. But $330,000, you kind of go into it thinking that, hey, I might take on $20,000, $30,000 of student debt. And along the journey, suddenly that starts to add up. Okay, here's another 75. Here's another 100. Next thing you know, you're cutting it close to $500,000 in student debt, which is crazy. For a lot of these stories that I'm hearing too, it's the average is $28,000 in student debt with a bachelor's degree. But this is crazy. $330,000 is a different level.
Yeah, and it just keeps going on. I can read the story on this girl here owes $80,000, $60,000. It's going on. And I think the conversation now is going to go into what are we going to do? What's going to happen? Because it is a debt that potentially could be cleared by the government. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we know the answers to that. But if it could potentially be cleared by the government, what does that mean for future college in general? Like, I think what I'm trying to get at here is where are we going with college? And I think we are going to have this conversation continuously with Find Your Grind and what we are trying to do and the curriculum we have in high schools and being a part of colleges and being in colleges. We can't. There has to be a line drawn down here at the center somewhere because it's out of control. It
is. It's crazy. I think we're up to about 1.4 trillion in debt, and so I think it's wild. It's a wild number, and it's a hard thing to just suddenly wipe that out or start to cut away at that. But I think ultimately that number is something that can start to really take down an entire economy, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah. And now I'm going to lead into this a little bit, and we both will sit here and say we are not as educated on politics as a lot of people and a lot of these news outlets, for myself and you in general, I think we like to read it and understand what's going on. And right now there are 744 candidates who are running for president for the 2020 election. 253 Democrats, 95 Republican, 30 Libertarians. And then I'm going to go
that are in the rate that are registered to be in this.
Yes, that
election?
are registered. That are
How
registered.
many Democrats?
253. That number just keeps growing now, and it's kind of. I think we're going to get lost in it.
By the way, I'm sorry. I thought there were maybe 10.
No,
that's wild to me. You know, like that's just. I guess I'm just out of the loop.
And on the Democratic level, it needed to be that you needed to raise 65,000 last week or the week before, I believe. They've now put that to 130,000 that you need to be able to even be able to be a part of the debate, which is the Democratic debate is coming up in a couple of weeks here, towards the end of June. And it's kind of a whirlwind. Like Joe Biden is your current leader, and then they followed behind by Bernie Sanders, and then it just goes through a slew of people. Andrew Wang, Beto O'Rourke, who is he just ran for in Texas against Ted Cruz, and he nearly beat Ted Cruz in Texas, in a huge Republican state. And if he had have turned that, I think that would have been a huge win for him in his presidential run. But again, it's just a lot of wealthy people putting themselves in there and saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's just for the Democrats, it's very confusing.
Right. Ted Cruz is that big 400-pound fat weird guy, isn't he?
No.
No.
That's he's the weird looking guy from Texas. The 400-pound guy.
I thought so.
No, the 400-pound guy was the mayor of the the governor of New Jersey.
I'm sorry. Okay, continue. I apologize for that.
I'm out of here. Anyway, going back to it, it was the Democrats are now pushing hard on this student loan. And listen, I hope they figure it out. But I just feel sorry for a lot of everyone that's in the middle of this crisis right now. And I hope we can just get to a medium and figure it out. I don't know what the answers are.
Yeah, well, this is a topic we talk about a lot, but this is something where it's that decision making after high school where it's, am I going to college, or am I not? And to a lot of people, the pressure is too insane to say I'm not going to go to college. Well, one, because a lot of people at that time haven't figured out exactly the path they want to be on, or, the type of person they want to become, the type of life they want to live. So it's understandable to take that next step to go into college, to spend another 4 years trying to figure that out. But I guess I would say for the college thing, Dingo, that if you're going to spend the 4 years going to the university and going to the college, do something that's going to help progress your skill set or progress something that you are excited about or that you want to pursue. Don't go to college just to get the 4-year degree. Go to college to actually learn the skill that you are good at or that you're interested in, to spend the time in a valuable way.
My question is like, what are colleges doing about this?
Right, about the debt?
Yeah, what is, they have to be a part of the conversation because they're the ones that are essentially putting money in their pockets.
Right.
Right?
Yep, it's so true.
So who in the colleges, and who is a part of that's helping figure this out? Because for as far as I can see, and we've got to be careful in certain situations because we do work in the education system in high schools and colleges, and we're not saying don't do this or don't do that, but come on, guys, let's help some people out here and let's just figure out, we want people to work. We want people to be trained and go into a career that they're great for, not going to get a degree and defer and have to get another degree and just stay in school because there's no jobs and just put yourself into debt that you're never going to come out of.
Yep. I really like the idea we talked about today with Find Your Grind, which was after grade 12, introducing some type of element of a gap year after that grade 12 happens, right? To be able to take a year to assess whether, okay, am I going to go to college? Or am I not? Am I going to go straight into a field of work, right? And I think taking kind of that year to really hone in on what it is that you want to do, I think is important after grade 12.
Yeah, I do too.
Which I think is cool. So I want to help try and provide that through Find Your Grinds programs is that gap year opportunity that is essentially funded through a state level, and through a city level to keep kids inside of certain cities, which I know cities and that type of thing will be excited about.
So it looks like West Virginia has passed a bill for teachers basically saying, passed a sweeping education overhaul bill that would deem teacher strikes unlawful. This bill would allow schools to fire workers for striking and withhold pay on strike days, as well as forbid from closing schools due to strikes. We know that teachers have been struggling for a long time, and teacher pay is very low in that mid-range. Here, basically saying in West Virginia, your average salary is $48,000 to $64,000. I just don't understand why they would pass a law like that. Like, give them and right now I want to celebrate teachers.
Absolutely.
I want to celebrate teachers for what they do every single day.
Yeah.
For society. Like, I don't think teachers are given enough credit in society, and I don't like their rights being taken away. I think that is awful and not good for society, and people are not crediting what teachers have done for all of us growing up as young kids from kindergarten into middle school into high school into colleges, and the things that they have to do on a daily routine every single day to make sure we are learning and growing and exercising. And I want to celebrate teachers worldwide, and I think it's wrong on what West Virginia has done there by taking their right away. Let them strike.
Absolutely, man. I agree. I think obviously all in favor for teachers, want to support teachers in as many ways as we possibly can, and especially through FYG, just being able to provide assets that teachers can really utilize inside the classroom that help them kind of teach the real world, help them be of value to their students in a way that works in 2019, and I think it's very important to be providing the best assets and tools to teachers to be able to help upcoming kids,
Support your local teacher. We all have them. I got family that are teachers. Support them. They are like our citizens, the Bruce Waynes. I think it was really cool. It was really cool yesterday to hear ASAP Rocky refer to you as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
And it kind of came out of nowhere. And I think me and you have been working together a long time now. And we're growing. What we're trying to grow here, I think it's hard for some people to understand what we're doing, and I don't expect people to understand what we're doing.
Right.
Because if everybody understood what we're doing, everybody be doing.
Right. Sure.
Correct?
Yeah. It was interesting to hear ASAP reference the Bruce Wayne thing. Okay, what did he mean? I still didn't pick up on that. Is Bruce Wayne doing stuff and doing a bunch of things, or getting in his hands dirty, or is he what was that reference? Was it just
Bruce Wayne is like you kind of referring to your Batman. You kind of put on the cape and you hide in certain exercises.
I get it.
And then you can walk into that room and be who you are,
right?
But then behind closed doors, you can kind of put on this cape, and you've got all these things going on that not everybody knows about.
I get it,
right?
I get it.
And you're helping people in all these different areas, and not taking credit for it in different areas, but then also building this empire that is this creativity. And for him to be sitting at that table, for him to reference that to you, gave me the chills, and it was just cool. It was, I think, a moment that you should be super proud of, and big for all of us on what we're trying to achieve here, to be able to have people like that, even to come and sit with us and understand what we're doing.
I love it, man. Anytime we are excited to move forward and continue working with ASAP Rocky on stuff that we can't talk about now, but building something very exciting with that man. And he's obviously been such a cultural icon and a culture shifter. The guy is able to grow brands. He's able to destroy brands just based on his influence. He's a very awesome guy, smart, very awake. He's an 88 baby. He's just like me. And I really like that dude. He's a good hang.
Yeah.
It's good to see him sober and killing it.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to say goodbye to our friend iTunes.
Oh my God, thankful that you hit on that.
Who went to trash on Monday. No.
Unbelievable, by the way, dude.
Yep, so it was gentle.
The end of an era.
Discontinuing passing. iTunes was surrounded by family and friends at Apple's annual developer conference when Apple executive announced that it would be dismitting and its features would be split among 3 apps: Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and Apple TV.
Well, we know this is shocking because of the familiarity we have with iTunes, and we've for the past 15 years have been using it. The world has completely shifted into the world of streaming, which in a sense has completely salvaged and saved the music industry. The projections of the music industry now, by 2030, they're expecting it to be a $45 billion industry, which is insane, So the biggest industry that the music industry has ever been, they're projecting in 10 years it will be there based upon streaming and what it's done to music and what it's done to the industry. So I'm sad to see iTunes go, but at the same time, Apple Music's gonna carry the torch. Things like Spotify, Tidal, Amazon, all these other kind of DSPs that are the way we listen to music now, which is streaming, which is saving the music industry, which is crazy to think about.
Is much going to change from that?
I don't think a lot will change from that. People still do have the labels, and companies are still making a lot of money off of the digital download. That still accounts for a lot of the revenue that these companies are making. But I think streaming is just far going to surpass that over the next, couple years. So pretty interesting, man. Pretty interesting stuff.
It's big news.
It is.
Like Apple always, the new phone, new this, new that. I mean, nothing really changes. But like for iTunes, it was 18 years, and it's something that we're all so used to.
Yeah.
And a lot of us use. It's it's changing the times, and they're growing, and they got to figure out different areas. And
let me ask you, man. Like, what would you go on iTunes to purchase a 99-cent song, or would you go stream it?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So like, I think I pay $11 a month.
Okay.
Or $9.99 a month.
Right?
No, I know. I'm on Apple.
You're on Apple Music.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, it's funny. A friend of mine sent me a Spotify thing, and I couldn't even get into it because I'm not signed up.
Right. Okay.
And tell me this, like, Spotify is not a profitable business?
Spotify is not a profitable business, but, they've surpassed, over 100 million paid subscribers now, which is huge. The reason that they are not profitable is because they pay out such a large percentage of revenue to the licenses and to the major labels that own these master recordings and that own the sound recordings. So a huge chunk of revenue has to go back to paying the owners of this music, which are the major labels. So the major labels are caking out now because of streaming, because they have to get paid because they own the rights to this stuff.
But the streaming companies aren't making any money.
It's a tougher uphill climb,
because how do you give away music and not make money?
Which is interesting. I know, it's like, and also Spotify too, to take it for example, like these guys have also had a lot of backlash for the offices they have around the world. Like they had a huge office in the World Trade Center that they were paying $2 million, I think, a month for, whatever it was, something crazy. So it's just like their burn on cash has been spent in kind of these areas that people are a little like, well, did you really need to get the office on the top of the World Trade Center and this, like as they were growing, kind of their thing. So I don't know, man. I think the number is literally like close to $400 million that they are, kind of burning or losing every single year, which is nuts.
And I don't even have this story in front of me. I just want to keep going on this topic. I've recently done a bit of research on like Uber, and it's kind of been everywhere, and looking at where Lime scooters are and all these other like little app companies or these app companies that are transportation businesses. Uber is burning through $2 billion a year on money that they've either raised with no profits. Mm-hmm. So Uber's not a profitable business.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Right. It's not, I guess you don't have to think about successful businesses being all about profit. It doesn't have to come down to profit. It can come down to...
I get that.
It can come down to users. It can come down to pure revenue. It can come down to a lot of things to get valuations on companies to allow them to raise money to get to the next point. You know what I'm saying?
No, I do. But now it's saying the app companies, and it was like I believe you invest in, is it Bird or Lime?
I'm an investor in Bird.
Okay, so you're
you know why?
Why?
Because the bird's the word.
Bird is the word. The bird is the word. The bird is the word. The bird. That was pretty good.
You know, that's really the only fucking reason. Seriously.
You know, and they're you're probably not lying. He's not lying. They're in the transportation business, right? So it's like you're looking at what Scooter's doing. Scooters on a smaller level are, if you're going to go a mile or under, you're probably going to look to take a scooter now, or a Lime, or a Bird, or a wheelie, or whatever it is. So Uber's like, shit, I need to be a part of that because they're taking away from our revenue. But I'm looking at it as these app companies now, like I looked at it, and some of the scooter companies, the scooters don't last long. So you got to pay for upkeep in these things. So there's trash there. Yep. They're getting thrown out a lot. They get treated. There's just not a long lifespan in them. And again, I was a guy in the news. I just kind of caught it, and he was like, again, none of these businesses are hard to be profitable businesses, but yet Silicon Valley is still piling money into it, saying yes, they're obviously they've got great information, they've got credit cards, they have all the things that these apps need, and they have a lot of users. It was very hard for me to understand. I spend a lot of money on Uber every month, and it was very hard for me to understand that it's not a profitable business and they're burning cash in these areas.
Yep.
And where is the cash out? Because there are people making money on it, but are the drivers' rates are about to go up? Is there going to be a shift here that Uber's like, oh shit, we really need to turn and make a profit here rather than...
Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting, just kind of high level learning lesson for people and for young people or whoever it is. You don't need to be necessarily a profitable company in order to run a successful company in terms of growth and in terms of scalability.
Silicon Valley ain't afraid. They just keep piling money into it.
Yeah, Silicon Valley wants users, man. Those guys are like, how many users you got? Let's figure this out. Yeah. You know, what's your distribution? What are your eyeballs? Who's interested?
Yeah.
It's interesting, man. No, I agree. It's an interesting topic.
Kind of a sad story. Well, not a sad story, but there's been a lot of information coming off Mount Everest. They just had they did a cleanup in Mount Everest. They had 11,000 kilograms of garbage, which is almost 24,000 pounds cleared out. A bunch of dead bodies.
You are kidding me right now.
No, I'm not. What I'm going to go into more is that is so sad to think about. The garbage, which included empty oxygen cylinders, plastic cans, batteries, food wrappings. Mount Everest now has become a thing for very, very wealthy people. If you have the money, you can get to the top or try and get to the top. And Sherpas don't have that much money. Their culture, so these people are doing it just for the money. So there's this weird system that has now been built into the culture of, like, when I was younger, like, I wanted to climb Mount Everest, like, I and now
I still want to climb Mount Everest in the back of my mind. I just know that it's just so high.
Do you know what Mount Everest looks like right now? It looks like the 405 at 6 o'clock.
Wow. Like what, in terms of just...
If people.
Tons of people now?
It's disgusting. It is so disgusting on what it's turned into. It's like, I've got money, I want to get there.
It's not an exclusive kind of like...
No.
Crazy thing as much anymore.
No.
So where's all this trash coming from? Is it all base camp?
They're just leaving it. They're leaving it. It's what they're saying here. Some of the garbage was handed over to NGO Blue Waste. In value, which recycles waste products during a function in Kathmandu.
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
In the presence of Nepal Army Chief General, I can't even butcher that guy's name. We'll call him Mr. His last name Thapa, on Wednesday. So they're trying to address this situation. Coinciding with the World Environment Day, Big Day, Dev Payton. I've done a bit of research here, and there's so where I'm getting at is the world is full of trash. There's a floating trash island in the Caribbean. We're now starting to pile up in trash. I know in Australia, there was a dumping ground in North Australia, Darwin, where the Chinese used to dump their trash. What are we doing here? We're getting to a point where it's like, I went from the Mount Everest story and I just did a research and looking around at these floating trash islands. Where are we going with plastic? Where are we going with trash? Where are we going in our for our society in general of like, this is where we are in 2019. Where are we going to be in 2030? Like, is it too late? Are we too late?
Yeah.
Is it too late?
I think you go back down to people are going to be people, and not all people. The majority of people are just unaware of and not caring about the environment. I think that's just kind of the factual information of just like individuals. As much as we want to think that everyone's going to be the perfect, we realize that there's an issue and we're going to do better. Sure, there's going to be a good percentage of people who will do that, but the majority of people, generally speaking, are going to continue probably trashing the world. And I don't like to say that, but I think that's just something that will continue to happen. So I think the solution, Dingo, is that you start to look at what type of materials and what type of things can we be, like the straws, right? The straws going from plastic material to paper material. There are things like this that you can start to, I guess, hone in on more of, like creating things that can be sustainable for the environment.
Yeah,
here
in California, it's very hard now. It's like either there's no straws, there's paper straws. People are saying, carry a metal straw around.
Which, listen, those are all good steps, and I think there needs to be more of that focus of how can we create things that are healthier for the environment, because I don't think that people are going to stop trashing things, unfortunately, because people just are just. But
look at society in general. Look at our biggest companies in the world and what we're doing. Of car manufacturers, you're talking about your Amazons, people, factories, right? We're creating, we're selling, we're packaging, we're delivering. It's there's boxes and plastic to put in the plastic and make this and make that, and it's all just. Sorry, excuse my language here, but it's fucking crap.
Yeah.
It's just and I am starting to feel like we have gone too far of no return, and I look at why Elon Musk and I look at why Jeff Bezos and I look at these guys and I see what they're trying to do in outer space, because I genuinely think that unfortunately with what's happening in the world, and we've gone too far, and if we don't pay too much attention to what's going on now, this place is going to just end up into a big trash field, and that 100 years from now, why Bezos and Elon Musk are saying, hey, there's things that we can do in outer space, we can attach and build economies out there, and we can find places to blah, 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 and we would come and utilize Earth for resources, but they're saying the future of society, for human society, is out there, and I used to think that's crazy, and now I look at it to where we're going on a mass level, and I'm like, oh, it makes sense, you can attach yourself to an asteroid and make sure it doesn't hit Earth and pull whatever it is from it to take back to Earth. But it's kind of true, man. Like, these guys are doing that because I think that they genuinely believe that a society can that we can build a society out there that will be sustainable than the one that's happening down here.
Well, we need it. We need people to be thinking that way. Strap me up to an asteroid. I'm in.
It's I literally watched a documentary where Bezos' company had figured out that you could attach yourself to an asteroid, which means you could steer it.
Fuck off.
You could steer it.
Fuck off, mate.
I swear to God. And we can live on the moon.
I'm in, dude. Give me another 20 years on this planet. I'm out of here. I'm sick of it. What else, Dingo?
Robert Pattinson's the new Batman.
Don't care.
Twilight guy's the new Batman. Joaquin, I'm really excited for the new Joker.
I'm excited. That is one that I'm excited about as well. Isn't that Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah. Like, he's gonna be. It looks very dark.
Pure savagery. You know what I am excited about? Can I talk about Toy Story 4?
Yeah, Toy Story 4. And I also want to talk to you about Rocket Man came out this past weekend.
I saw that, and I didn't see it, but I saw that.
Yeah, no, it did pretty well. So its box office worldwide was 56 million. Here in America, domestically, 25 million, which I think is pretty good for a biopic. They've come out and basically said, though, that it's more so not as much as a biopic as like Bohemian Rhapsody or even what the Motley Crue, The Dirt was. It was more of, according to the director, the Elton John musical Rocket Man isn't really a biopic. They took a short time in his life. I need to see it. I'm really excited to see it. They just took a short time in his life and then really emphasized on like what he went through. And I think that's talking about what he went through being a gay man in the world, of coming out and being one of the first to do that, and just being told again that you're not going to be anything, and then all of a sudden you become Elton John, one of the biggest rock star musical guys, humans of all time. Yeah. So I'm excited to see. I'm glad that cool. I'm really glad that it did well in. I'm really glad that it did well in the theaters.
Any predictions on Toy Story 4 box office revenue weekend one?
it'll be $1 billion.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay, I think so too. I think so too. And I will contribute $40 to that.
Oh, because you're going to take 2?
Yeah, I'll buy 2 tickets.
Yeah, no, I'm in on that as well. One last thing I wanted to finish with, and it's kind of on a good note.
Give it to me, baby.
I lost the article here. But Mike Posner...
Oh, Uncle Mikey's Posner?
He's walking across the country.
Is he?
Yeah, he's
That sounds like something our partner Mike Smith would do. Is he with Mike?
No, he's not. He's not.
Got it.
He's walking across the country, and I've known Mike for a long time. And I think that you hear lots of people, so I think where is he now? It says he's on day 26, on a day 46. He'd be day 53 right now. Sorry.
Do we need to bring him water? Mike, if you're listening, do you need water?
But how cool, right? I've always, it's like the Forrest Gump story. Like he's got...
What's the reason? What's going on?
No, he didn't really give a reason. He's just walking across the country, going to colleges, singing free shows. And,
really?
Yeah, you know, he made his start was he went to college. Cooler Than Me, the song that broke through, was basically broken through from. He was able to break the algorithm in colleges and get it played in every single college across the country, like multiple times. So then it went to #1 extremely quick. And then he wrote a couple songs for Justin Bieber. I think he had a bit of an up and down music career here in LA. He had the song last summer, a couple summers ago, the Avicii, Cool and Avicii song.
Yep.
And
you know he had that huge Maroon 5 song as well, which was his. What was it? Dang, I'm trying to remember the name right now, but it was one of the big Maroon 5 songs 2 years ago. Huge song.
But he's documenting the whole thing on Instagram, and it's. I think he's taking like spurts. Like he flew. I think he's from Detroit. I think he flew to see his family or whatnot. But he's got the full beard going, and he's walking across the country, and I just admire. I really admire that.
I dig it.
You know, so I think give him a follow. It's a story that's fun to. I love every couple of days checking in on him on his Instagram and just seeing where he is, and he sings poem. He writes these poems and goes to these colleges and does these free shows, and I don't know. He's just very intelligent, and I think he's one of those guys that had a very bumpy music career, like every music career. Like it's very few people have that rise to the top, and then you stay there. It's very
totally ups and downs.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, I feel like his songwriting career has almost been crazier than his artist career. He's written so many amazing songs, that people just don't know, and that's why I wish I could remember this Maroon 5 song that everyone knows. But it's like that was his song, and then Adam Levine came to him and was like, "Dude, I need this song because it's so good."
He's genuine. Yeah. And I love that there are genuine people like himself. And I saw somebody else the other day, they showed it to me. It was Diplo had posted a thread that he had with Travis Scott. And the thread was basically like, meet somebody, get their phone number. It posted a picture of him and Travis Scott changing numbers. And then the next thing, like, hey, like, hit me up, and then we'll work on a song. Diplo, hey, it's Diplo, hit me back. Red, like no response. Hey, man, it's Diplo, just following up on us, getting together. No reply. Diplo again. Hey, man, it's Diplo. Don't know if you lost my number, but it's me just trying to get at you. And it was like 6 text messages that Travis never responded to. And I was like, man, like, Diplo is at the top.
Yeah.
In the music world.
That's so funny.
And it's just everybody goes through these struggles. And I like that Diplo's so genuine. And the reason I wanted to talk about Mike Posner today is he's genuine, and I love what he's doing. And I just, I admire it.
I love that too, man. It's just a man living his life and doing what he wants to do, and he's on his own path, and I support it as well. Does that wrap up episode 3?
It brings us to the Raptors Golden State Warriors. Game 3, baby. Predictions.
Let's go. Okay, let me hone in. Predictions are Toronto Raptors do not take this game, and Golden State does. It'll piss the Toronto Raptors off, and so they'll take game 4. They'll tie it up 2-2. The Raptors will then come back in Toronto, take it up 3-2, and win it in Golden State 4-2, Toronto Raptors. quote me on that, and you will be posting this in a week and a half, and I will be the most accurate man on the planet.
NHL predictions. Game 5 would be up soon.
I'd say Bruins take it 4-2.
Is it match or game?
That's it. It's a game, sir.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah,
Just checking.
match. It's not rugby. Thank you.
Thank you. We've been all over the place today because we have been all over the road, but it's good to be back.
It's good to be back.
We're getting our mojo, and I just love sitting. I love sitting in this chair.
Yeah, you look good in it too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, your green socks and whatever you got. It's awesome.
Who cares?
It's great. Hey, thanks guys for episode 3.